Here we go, episode 2. Thank you for returning. Thank you for coming back. We are officially on Google Podcast and Spotify and iTunes or TuneIn. Maybe it's TuneIn. I got a little far with iTunes there. We are in TuneIn and we are in Podbean. You can always find our episodes in Podbean because that's the platform that we use to record our episodes. And so I keep going back and forth. Am I going to edit this episode? And I'm trying to get all my words out and hopefully they're making sense because I hate editing. And so my episodes will come out as raw as I'm thinking them because ain't nobody got time to go back and edit no voice sounds, okay? And I want you to hear my voice just like you would hear it if we were in person, if you and I were on a Zoom call, if you and I were on a phone call. Today I wanted to mention badass women. Like, we don't recognize the women in our life who have set that example, who are the leaders, who are the providers, who are our guides, who are the voices, who continue to day by day fight the systems of oppression that oppress women, the women that are day to day putting their opinions at the table, not caring about what anyone thinks. Badass women, right? I don't think we cherish enough the moments and the times that we have with them. We don't provide that moment of gratitude for them. We don't take a moment to say, hey, you have impacted my life in a way that now maybe I'm reflecting on. And so here's just a little thank you to you. Do that today. Think about the women that have been in your life, that have served you, that have served as your mentor, and even the ones that didn't know they were being a leader in your eyes, even the ones that you were watching and they didn't know you were watching. Okay? Thank them. And that could be within your family, because let me tell you, every day I have to think of how grateful I am for my grandmother. My goodness, she's the pillar of our family. She is one of those women that she does not apologize for being who she is. She walks in a room and she's like, I can tell out of all these people who's going to bring me some good and who's going to bring me some bad, okay? And she is able to put her foot down and she takes action. She's over 80 right now and she can still she still says, I have control of my life, and she does. There is no way her kids have been able to convince her that she needs to move in with one of us. And I include me because I'm her oldest granddaughter. Yeah, she is still independent. She does her own food shopping. She does not ask for help. She goes on about her day. If she's feeling bored at home, she just goes. She's like, I'm out. I'm not going to sit here in these four walls and, lose my mind if I can do something about it, okay? She is the reason why I can say I'm an immigrant, right? Because she's the one that's decided one day with her five children that she was going to take a leap of faith, that she was going to get the courage, and she was going to come. She was like, bye. And right? And then we came on, and I was born there. And so I came here when I was 9. And that's going to be covered in future episodes. But I just want to mention how, have you noticed how many women in our lives and other people's lives and in other families have been the ones that have made those big choices for their families? That they are the ones who have stepped out of their comfort zone and led their family through some really rough stuff. Okay? All right, raise your hand if you can mention off the top of your head 5 women that you recognize as pillars of their family, as change makers and go-getters, okay? Let's think about that for a minute. And when I think about what I want to do with this podcast, I think to myself, okay, definitely want to share my story, but I definitely want to leave you with a message and with some action item. Pick up your phone, send a text message, send a DM, recognize the women that have been there for you and the women that have led the way for you. And that could be women in your field, that could be women in your family, that could be women in your community, it could be women that are leading in your community. These could be women that maybe impacted you a while back in your life. And now you want to say to them, you know what? Just thank you. I don't think I've thanked you ever, or I don't think I've thanked you enough for the things that you've done, for the trailblazers that you have been for us. Okay, let's recognize that, and let's just turn around and say thank you, right? And let's recognize like our ancestors. Okay, let's recognize how much they've had to do, or they did for us, or continue to do for us. I have to tell you, my mother's mom, it's my grandmother. That's the one that I'm the closest to, because she's the one that I've been able to share my life with. My dad's mom was dead by the time I was born. I want to say, no, I think she died maybe a couple of years after I was born. But I didn't have that relationship with her. Or I didn't have that relationship with my dad's side of the family, or with my dad, right? My mom was a single mom. And so when I think of my grandmother and everything that she has done for her family, I'm just like, how can one woman do all the things and do them so effortlessly and unapologetically and as brave and as courageous as she did? And then I think of my mom, who's the second generation, and I think of all the things that she had to endure, and how she had to react to what was put in front of her and the options that she had to make in life. I think about my aunts, who I look up to as well, who I grew up with and were amazing role models and continued to pave the way for us. I mean, incredible. It's just amazing. Take a moment. My call to action from this episode is for you to just take a moment and reflect who in your life needs you to reach out to them and say thank you. Not only that, think about in the ways that you need to also be a resource for other women. Okay? I tell my students when I teach them, I say to them, listen, what I need you to do is when you look to your right and to your left, and you don't see anyone next to you, you need to stop and turn around and grab whoever's behind you and make sure they are walking beside you, okay? And that's what women need to continue to do. We've been doing it for generations, and we cannot stop now. Make sure that when you're looking to your right and to your left, you are finding that you have strong, empowered women next to you who are leading the way with you, so that it doesn't feel like you're the only one in front or you're the leader of all things, okay? Make sure you are sharing that space with other women, and that you are doing it genuinely, that you are actually doing it because you want them to succeed with you, okay? Because guess what? When those other women were at those tables, and when those other women were at those protests and those rallies and those marches, do you think they were thinking, oh, this is only for me? No, they were thinking about every other woman who was also being oppressed or not allowed to enter certain spaces. And that is all I will leave you with today. Make sure you text, DM, call, email, whatever you need to do to thank a badass woman that has made an impact in your life, or that you've watched make an impact on other people. And don't forget, when you're looking to your left and to your right, make sure that the women next to you are just as empowered as you are. Let's make it a great one. And thank you for listening to episode 2 of 2 Kids, 1 Doctorate. Stay tuned for more episodes coming up.